Octopath Traveler is rated T for teen by the ESRB. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Octopath Traveler. In this episode we are going to be making our way towards one of the secret dungeons of this game. Now I'm going to start off this episode by saying this is post-production commentary. There was a little bit of a glitch after I recorded both parts to this episode where the microphone didn't register, and I was panicked, I was stressed, I didn't exactly know how I was going to resolve this, and I decided I was just going to resolve it this way, which is post-commentary. So to get us started, we're going to travel to Victor's Hollow. We're going to make sure that everyone is all healed up and powered up, because from Victor's Hollow, we actually have to go to the area of Chapter 4, which will be much harder. In this area, we're heading towards Cyrus's location, but we're not going to be going into the town. We're going to make our way there, because there's going to be a dungeon for us to deal with in that area. And it is fully classified as a dungeon, and that's going to be something... I'm going to just say that we are going to go back to the dungeon and deal with it proper in a little bit. Right now, we're going to make our way there. So this is just me showcasing where we're going. I'm going to be cutting out a couple of battles unless it's something that is like a fresh video, like a fresh enemy. Then I've double sped the battle speed so that it can be processed a bit faster. In our map in the lower right, you'll be able to see the symbols for a temple, but you'll get another look at that after this battle. We have two very strong rat enemies in the back, and this is an example of double speeding the combat. Since this is post-production, I don't have to make the decisions of attacking live, which usually takes me some time, and I commentate on that in live speed. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know that it's not the best solution, and in the next episode we will actually have the corrected solution. I fixed the glitch and everything. So we've broken the rats, we've broken the tree. The tree is weak to fire, the rats are weakened by a sword swipe or lightning, so using elemental attacks is a little bit more of a difficult task since the tree breaks using a different element than the rats. Ophelia is currently blind, so physical attacking with her won't work out as well. We're deciding to go to the boss with this sort of layout. We have Primrose armed with the dancer and priest job. Therian is armed with the merchant and thief job. Ophelia is armed with the priest and scholar job, and Cyrus is armed with the scholar and apothecary job. This is the way that I built my team, and you guys might have a different approach. I'll explain the method of what we're going to do against the boss of this dungeon once we are fighting him, because we will be fighting him at regular speed. The battle has ended, and now we're just going to be navigating. We're going to find a couple more treasure chests along the way, but the goal is to find our way to the temple shrine in our lower right map. So right now we're making our way. This is an uncut battle because it's 4 new enemies, technically 2. Once again, our speeds are just double timed to make this come up just a little bit quicker. The serpent is weak to darkness, and the owl spirits are weak to lightning, I usually recommend using lightning. I'm trying to figure out any other elemental weaknesses of the snake, since it's already since the birds are broken. And that's turning out kind of decent. Once we've discovered that the snake has no additional elemental weaknesses, that's when I just start going off with Night Ode, and I think I try other weapons as well, trying to break the snake. It's weak to daggers, which means that the sword, axe, and spear are not going to be effective against it, making it weak to the dagger, the bow, and either wind or the scepter for his staffs. And it turns out that I was right about wind. I haven't rewatched this yet since I started post-commentating, so I'm kind of post-commentating blind. We're trying to power up Cyrus so that when we make our next attacks on the snake, it's going to be a strong, powerful attack. Primrose is going to break the snake, and now with Cyrus's ability being powered up by the Peacock Strut, it's going to do 800 damage, maybe 900. But Ophelia wipes it out with a single blast of light for 900 damage. That's really nice. I like using magic users. The physical attackers are great for just dealing out as much physical damage as we can. This one was just another rematch with those birds and that snake, so I cut it out because we've already seen those enemies. I'm not going to be cutting out encounters inside this dungeon, but I do flee from them. I don't battle anything else because I don't want to waste items or heals or SP on the monsters found in the caves. I wanted to stay fully energized and fully battle ready fighting this boss because it's going to be quite the battle. So with everyone ready, I kind of go in blindly. I don't really know where I'm going. But as always, if I see a chest, I'm going to try to go out of my way to collect it. Our first mob is going to be this golem, and it almost looks like it could be a boss itself. I'm actually surprised that this sort of creature was inside this cave. I don't remember in my own personal playthrough what me and my older brother encountered, because this was the first secret dungeon that me and him played through as well, and it was quite nice. I do see those chests in the background, but they're quite out of the way.
This is the beginning of
to
your end.
What I was trying to do. We have some revenants, I believe is what they're called, and what looks like a knight. Again, we just flee so that we can have full everything facing off the boss. And we come to the save, and if you remember the second areas of the game, we came across these shrines, and they had this sort of motif to it. Well, this one is a dungeon shrine, and we're going to be encountering the boss here. I do recommend being fully prepared and fully healed for this boss, and going in with a strategy, because if you go in without a strategy, you're just going to struggle and have rematches and go in complete circles trying to fight this guy. A voice echoes in your head. Hail, traveler. I'm going to try to read as much as I can. I am Dyrezz, the Archmagus. Dyrezz. Thou wouldest learn the lost secret I hold, then first thou must prove thy worth. So this does give you an opportunity to retreat or to battle, and you fight one of the gods of
Out of my way.
Ostera. This is in fact Dyrezz, the Archmagus, who we are fighting. And now I'm going to talk about my strategy that I was going in on with this battle. So, the Archmagus loves to use magic abilities. And one way that I found was best to fight him was to actually not fight him. And by that I mean Ophelia as a priestess and Primrose as a priest class have this move called Reflective Veil. And when someone uses a magic attack against someone with Magic Veil on, that attack does 0 damage to the person protected and reflects it back to the caster. So my plan was to use Primrose and Ophelia to cast as many reflective walls as I can on everyone, using the ability of Primrose's Seal Tige, who can turn the targeted ability of one person to all people. Which, that also sounds good. So I could use Seal Tige on Ophelia to use the Reflective Veil at full boost, and then for that, everyone gets to reflect 3 attacks.
I'm ready.
4 actually, because I think that counts as a boosted ability. And if I had Cyrus's Aliphan's ability active 2, that spell triggers twice.
With the grace of
so
Seal
everyone
Tige.
would get either 6 Reflective Veils cast in one move, or 8 Reflective Veils cast in one move.
Here I go!
So I came into this pretty strong. I'm like, I'm gonna get this all taken care of. Here comes the Reflective Veil. And like, it was well thought of, and I was so prepared to do what had to be done. And this is just me deciding, do I want to use Alfric's ability, or do I want to do the Reflective Veil? And what I've ended up deciding on, I think I've noticed something. I can't remember how this battle... I do remember how this battle turned out, but I don't remember if I actually noticed what was going on or not. But I'm gonna talk about what's going on. You can see that Dyrezz had cast some abilities. One of them is that gray up arrow, the gray staff, and the gray fist. Well, what Dyrezz has cast on me has reduced the damage caused by physical attacks, reduced the damage caused by magical attacks, and has prevented me from putting up any buffs or bonuses to any of my characters for 4 turns. So as you saw there, Primrose tried to use Veil on Ophelia, and it did nothing. So because of that, I didn't actually have the correct plan, and so I decided, well, that's not going to work. We're going to move on story-wise. I actually did attempt Dyrezz a few more times, like 3 more times, trying to figure out what was going on, because I didn't understand why my plan didn't work. And then I had to look up what exactly he was doing to me to prevent me from doing damage the way that I was expecting. And so I'm just gonna need to level up a bit more. If I can survive the attacks for 4 turns, then I'll be able to recast those abilities on me. So that's kind of the approach that we're going. As a result, I've decided to take Aliphan out from the bar, and we're going to be making our way to Orewell, the 3rd city in the Cliftlands, and get ready to start his chapter. We've cut out a couple of battles there because we've already encountered the enemies from that area before, but now we're in a new area, so we're gonna double time the battles coming up. This is just me explaining that from to get to Olberic's chapter in the Riverlands, you're actually not going to be going through the Riverlands. It's impossible to get there. You'd have to go through this region and go south. Not the south that I'm going now, but a different kind of south. You'd have to go further in. We get the Olive of Life here, and we keep going. And we encounter, this actually gave me boss music for some reason. Or what sounds like boss music. It was very weird. But we're basically just going to be fighting some more enemies. They think that they're super strong. We're going to use luminescence to do some damage to everyone. Enemies in this 4th region turned out to be stronger than I was anticipating, but it didn't truly matter because I do have 3 level 52 people in my party right now, and Aliphin is really just there to reap as much experience as I can in these battles. We're going to use luminescence, knock out the 2 background monsters. At this point we are about halfway through the battle, so these battles do take some time. They're long, heavy hitters. It also doesn't help that I'm not exactly fighting this creature to break it so that I could do more damage. I did a heal using Alphin, and it turned out that he does not heal to the best of the abilities that he could. Using the single person, light attack does more damage than the attack all, so just be aware of that. I guess at this time I should mention why I went after Dyrezz. Dyrezz, the Archmagus, provides the ability to gain 1 of 4 hidden jobs. And his hidden job is the Archmagus ability. It allows you to learn all of the elemental attacks. All of them. Fire, ice, lightning, wind, light, dark. And the attacks do 3 rounds of damage in 1 turn, which is super effective. Me and my brother were able to do the battle with Dyrezz and got it before we even started chapter 4. I think even before we started or finished all the chapter 3s. And it was a really nice bonus because what we did is we gave it to Cyrus, who's obviously magic oriented. And at that time, Cyrus was able to learn every single ability and all the powers. And the Archmagus' divine ability is a non-magical powerful attack. So it's, in Final Fantasy terms, the element type would be Ruin, I believe, because it's non-elemental magic. And it's really useful. Once again, go into that battle with a strategy. Figure out what you're going to do in order to survive the attack so that you can gain that ability. It really does help in the long run, because a lot of these enemies have started to be breakable at 3 attacks rather than 2. The spider in this particular battle breaks at 5. So if you can break it down in 1 move with 3 attacks, that basically would almost break it, actually. So now that we've beaten another battle, I believe we have 2 more battles that we get into as we try to make it to Orewell. I am trying to decide which way to go. Going up actually will go to a dungeon, one that I believe is part of a side quest that we'll get into inside Orewell. This is just me trying to figure out what the symbol is, if it's a dungeon or if it's a shrine, because there are 3 more of those god shrines that we have not traveled to. This is just us fighting giant eagles. They are a new enemy in this part of the world, and what I decided to try here was taking the enemy and starting to do poison damage to them each turn. Maybe that would be something that I could get into. Poison damage, I believe, occurs at the end of the round? Question mark? I'm not 100% certain, but that's something that I was paying attention to around this point. So the Scholar is going to use a magic ability, damage everyone, and then everyone took 1220 damage at the end of the round. So in this battle, Aliphin was able to go back and forth to ensure that the monsters were poisoned in each round. Very useful, and even if they are broken, they still take damage. So we defeated the giant eagles, and now we're almost at the city. There's a little bit more. I decided to go get this treasure chest. And going up, this is the last battle we get into. And this is actually quite a difficult battle. This rhinoceros thing can do quite a lot of damage, especially if you don't pay attention to what it's doing. My recommendation in this kind of battle is focus more on the rhino than on the spiders. I don't think... Actually, it has to be weak to an element. I think I find it weak to wind. I think. It's clearly not weak to lightning. The spiders are weak to lightning, which is why I kept Cyrus using the electrical abilities, attacking and breaking the spiders more than the rhino. The rhino was weak to the sword, the axe, and the scepter, but I still hadn't figured out what element it was weak to. As a result, I decided to give Sealtiege's Grace to Cyrus so that he can attack twice. So we get double fire twice here, and that does do quite a bit of damage. Alphin and Therian are knocked out, but we do have lots of olives to bring them back. So that's not a big concern. I think what I do is I bring Cyrus back, and I gamble that this guy wasn't gonna damage me. Which fortunately he didn't. So I took the opportunity to heal up more. Cyrus still having the ability to attack multiple times. I discovered that he was weak to blizzard and ice attacks. And there we go. The battle is complete, and now we're going to Orewell. I don't have in my timeline that there's going to be more enemy battles. We make it into the city, which is amazing. Because what do we do right away? We say that we're going to take on the tail for another day. And like we do with all new places, we start stealing and scrutinizing people, trying to get as many items and information as we can going into this city. I don't speed anything up from here on out, but just know that we are talking to everyone, and we're not going to battle anyone in this round because we don't have Hannet or Orbrick out at the moment. But we do have at least 2 people for scrutinization. Alphin is the opposite force of Cyrus, where Cyrus is based on a stat, Alphin is based on a level. So he can't inquire anyone because he's not a high enough level to do so. We have Kaya here. She's one of our major quest lines that we've been following since the beginning of the Cliftlands. And she came to this village to look for blaze stones for the egg, but the egg has been stolen. So she's actually requesting that we go meet the thief at the Dragonsong Fane, which I think is the dungeon outside of Orewell. I don't think we're gonna try that dungeon until after Elephant's quest, just because of the way that Orewell is designed. It's kind of like this high level area. We continue to steal from people, get some soul stones, scrutinize them. This old lady doesn't have anything to show us, but she had a lot of soul stones, so I recommend either with Tressa to steal or with Therian. Tressa to buy or Therian to steal. I'm sorry, I got those confused. To talk to this person. This is clearly a building of importance for someone's storyline. Probably Cyrus, because Cyrus is the only one who comes here. This is the affable merchant. I don't think he is someone with a quest. I think I just talked to him to talk. Sometimes I do that to fill in void, try to build a relationship with the people of the towns. This guy does give us the, quote, Dragon of the Cliftlands. I have a feeling someone in another region wants to know more about the dragons. And so that sort of information is good to know. We have an item hidden right here by the shop, and then we have a quest here. But first, of course, we're gonna steal the miserable mother's possession. Now, oh, and scrutinize. Now, if I remember correctly, we don't talk to her right now, but she is our quest giver. I'm still on the let's go steal from everyone. Miserable mother got into a fight with her son wanting to be a knight, and she told her son that he wouldn't amount to anything, that would be worthless. How dare he go against the path that she's laid for him. And this is just me trying to figure out how to get that item. You have to go around the box like this. So the mother feels ashamed for what she said to her son and wants us to find her son and talk to him. I think that's one of the ways, or to allure him or guide him back to her so that she could apologize. It feels like it's one of those, there's multiple ways to approach this story quest. And so just keep on a lookout to someone who might be a knight, probably over in the Flatlands, because he turns out to be this woman's son. Now we do have one area left to go to and scrutinize, which is up at the top of this cliff. There is a path to go on to the left here. There's a sign up, but we can't go past the sign without activating Alphen's quest. I said earlier that Cyrus's quest was going to be here. No, Alphen's quest is here. This guy saying that the man at the edge of the cliff has been saying he's going to throw himself off the cliff. And we're going to have to talk to him to not get him to throw himself off a cliff. So there's that. So we're going to steal from this man. Everyone just is carrying a lot of packages and bundles and pieces for me to grab and steal. How nice of them. Next we're going to grab, scrutinize him. He's gonna reveal that there's a hidden item in the bush. And then we have the final quest giver. He wants to throw himself off a cliff because he got into a bad trade and it cost him everything. And now he has nothing to live for, and it's going to be our job to give him something to live for. I sense it's going to be trying to find the guy who swindled him and get his property back. But it's something that I'm going to have to look up and confirm for myself that is in fact the job that the quest answer that he wants. Because there are multiple ways to solve a quest, multiple ways that you can do something, and multiple ways that you can fail them. So this is just the guy saying, don't come near me. Okay. And that is everyone. So now we're going to make our way, I think it's back to the front of town. No, I'm looking for the bar. That's what I'm doing. Which is right here. And that's going to be it for the episode. So I consider starting it, but then I'm not, and here we are. So that's been the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching Octopath Traveler. If you liked what you saw, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Mash that like button and subscribe if you have not for more Octopath Traveler content. Next episode will not be post-commentary. I found the glitch that has made me need to do it this way, so we won't have to do it this way. Anyways, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!